Is Chris Brown back together with his ex? And we're not talking about Rihanna. Can a guy love two people at once? I'm Nicole DeBow in Hollywood for the Daily Buzz on CelebBuzz.com. So Chris Brown was spotted with his on-again, off-again girlfriend Karrueche Tran. They reunited in Burbank and were photographed leaving his house together. And of course, this all comes after it looked like he was back with Rihanna. So what does this mean? Can a guy date two people at once, or is that just too crazy? Joining the conversation from Atlanta, radio host Jen Hobby Rivera, co-host of The Burt Show, and we have relationship expert and celebrity matchmaker Samantha Daniels. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
All right, so let's first take a look at what Chris Brown said about these two women in a video diary of sorts. Here it is.
You know, when you share history with somebody, then you tend to fall in love with somebody else. It's kind of difficult, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, is it such thing as loving two people?
Samantha, he asked the question, all right, so I'm just going to bring it to you. Is there such a thing as loving two people at once?
Well, I think at 23 years old, you can love two people at once. I mean, we have to keep in mind that Chris Brown is still just a young guy. And even though he's always in the media and we've been watching him for a while, he's still a young guy who's trying to figure things out. And until you find the one, you might be in love a bunch of different times. And I think that's what's going on with him.
Of course, he is young, but isn't it a little dangerous that one of the women that he's in love with is Rihanna after we all know what happened, you know, previously?
Well, they've had a toxic relationship, so of course it would make much more sense for him to go forward than to go backwards. But sometimes you can't help what the heart feels, and chemistry is always the intangible. If I were giving Rihanna some advice, I would say run, don't walk away from him, because been there, done that. We know that it's not working for them, but sometimes you can't help it, and they might need to go through it again to figure out what they should really do and then move forward.
Yeah, let's hope they don't go through that again. Jenny, I mean, he is a bachelor. He's 23. Can a guy date without constantly being ridiculed?
I think he can, but he's got to be really honest with himself. Is he really grown up enough to handle two relationships at one time? I think Chris Brown is a narcissist, and I think he's really in love with himself. I mean, he refers to himself in that video in the third person all the time. And I think that it just reflects that he's really caught up in himself, and maybe he should just take some time to be a bachelor, to be single, and let these women move forward with their lives. I feel bad for Karrueche Tran that she's now being roped back into this relationship when he's clearly not putting her as a priority.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all wonder if Chris Brown has really taken the time and put in the effort to change himself after the incident. So this doesn't seem like the best solution, but I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, Samantha, what kind of emotions is someone like Chris dealing with when you have these strong feelings for two people?
I think it's like a roller coaster ride. Some days he's in love with one, some days he's in love with another, some days he's probably thinking, well, who else is out there? So I think that for him, he'd probably be best served just being with himself for a while and growing and learning who he is as a person and figuring out who the best match for him would be, instead of just keep going backwards. If he keeps revisiting the exes, he's never really going to understand who he is or what's right for him in the long run.
All right, and who do you think, I mean, being the matchmaker that you are, who do you think is the better fit? Is it Chris and Rihanna or Chris and Karrueche?
Well, if I had to say, I wouldn't pick either one. It's too much history there, and I think that it's not working in any direction. But if I have to pick one of the two of them, I would definitely say Karrueche, because the relationship between Rihanna and Chris was so toxic, and it's so clear that it didn't work, that even though he might still have feelings for her, it's just not going to work. And sometimes you just have to accept that and move forward with someone else, or be alone for a while and then figure out what's next.
Exactly. I think the best fit is Chris and Chris. Thanks, ladies, for joining us today. And let us know what you think of the love triangle in question by using the hashtag #TheDailyBuzz. And for the latest on the biggest stories breaking right now, go to CelebBuzz.com.